Hello friends, welcome to the session of Biochemistry. I'm Dr. Nilesh, and I bring to you a review of the topics which were asked in this exam. You see a lot of recalls, you see a lot of previous year's questions, videos, questions, everything. But at the end of the day, you don't have that summary, which are the main and important topics. So I have brought this assessment, or you can say analysis, to you, where we have compared both the session one and session two, and highlighted the topics which are being asked in the exam. Following this video, we'll also be making an analysis video looking at the NEET PG for the last 5 years, the IICT for the last 5 years, to give you an overview the topics which are in great focus for exam. We will also do this exercise for the FMG students so that they can also know which are the areas, the focus areas by the examiners, which they cannot afford to miss. So let's quickly take a look at this video. Uh, Including both the sessions, overall, there were 26 topics which were assessed this time. Total 26 topics which were assessed, and we had 17 questions in the morning session. Through recall, we could get 13 questions for the second session, but it is possible there were a larger number of questions, but this is what we had. Okay, so first quick look at the session one. Session one was more of a routine type of paper where we get more and more of traditional topics, traditional questions. Although the way to ask that information was slightly different, it was more clinical based, it was more applied. So you had one question on vitamin one, but here they asked about phenoderma. They had not given the typical white dots or something like that. They given a clinical case of the phenoderma. Then on vitamin B1, we had two questions again talking about uh, vitamin B1 and the Wernicke psychosis. So you understand that vitamin B1 is very, very, very important and very much in focus by the examiners. And we have one question from vitamin B12. So we know that every time we are getting anywhere between 3 to 6 questions from the what is vitamins, and this trend was followed in the morning paper as well. You did not have any question from the minerals in the morning session. Okay. Traditional paper, generally no questions from minerals, most of the questions from the vitamins. Moving on, one question from glucose metabolism, again traditional question. One question from glucose transporters, slightly twisted, talking about the transporter affected by insulin. So slightly twisted, but we know this. We know GLUT4 is the one which is affected by insulin. Question on ETC inhibitors. Again, anytime we're getting the questions on ETC inhibitor, but twist here was that they had not given the complex 1, 2, 3, and 4. They had not given the name of the complexes. They don't want the reactions which is happening in those complexes. So slight twist in the question, but nevertheless, well-known topic. Then again, spinal lipidosis, cultures, crumpled tissue appearance, very classical, very traditional question. In lipoprotein disorder, always I tell you lipoproteinemia, hyperlipidemia type 1 and 2A, these are the ones which you must know. So these were the two which were asked. In heme synthesis, we know that lead toxicity is going to affect the heme synthesis. It will block the precursors, so you are likely to find intermediates of heme synthesis in toxicity. This is what was asked. Then again, hyperbilirubinemia, you know which enzymes are elevated in pre-hepatic and post-hepatic, so they are just about obstructive case, and you need to know about the enzymes. Leishnahan, clinical question, very commonly repeated. I always emphasize you must know about Leishnahan. How does it present? What is the image? What is the clinical picture? And this is what was asked here. DNA damage and DNA repair. I always tell you, xenoderma is the most commonly asked question from the DNA damage and DNA repair mechanism. The PCR question was asked from PCR, but there was some variation. They had asked about the variant of PCR used under special scenario. We always talk about variants of PCR when we mention PCR, and if you have listened to the video, then it is very, very easy to answer this question. Into Wilson's, all of you know about case of Schilling, the case ring was there in the question. It was slightly more implied thing that which would be the best test to identify for the diagnosis. Homosexuality again a traditional topic, but a twisted question, which vitamin supplementation will help. So slightly a twisted question. If you need to know the subtypes of homosexuality before you can answer this question. So you see, broadly, almost all topics with some twist in the questions and lean towards the applied part. If you know the applied components of those topics, you read the topic well rather than just looking at the previous questions. Then you would see through paper one. Moving to paper two, first I would highlight the overlap. There was one overlapping topic. It is not all the question was different. One overlap protein disorders. The xanthoma question, tendon xanthoma was asked in both paper one and paper two. I think that's it. Only two topics were common in session one and session two. To session two, if somebody tells you you could have done it, it was doing well, this and that, so you should be person. So biochemistry was totally out of this world. So whoever has done well in paper two biochemistry, hats off to you. It was a very difficult paper from the biochemistry. For those students who have managed to set the correct answer, kudos to you. You have done very, very well. I would say you have very good command over biochemistry, and well done. In that case, paper two biochemistry was superlatively tough. Very, very Space imbalance. This was the only easy, simple technical question, but the options were pretty long and highly confusing. So you have to read all the options carefully, go through the stem of the question, and then answer very, very carefully. It was difficult, but it was tricky. Vitamin B3, this was a slightly traditional question, but then you come to iron. Asking about the of the iron profile. If you are not really thorough with the picture file profile, then you are in a soup. Similarly, they had a question on and they had question on lactose intolerance. Now, this lactose intolerance is a routine topic. The presentation that they received was not very simple. So, okay, it was tricky. And they had asked what deficiency will be there in this picture. Similarly, in Pompeii, if you don't uh, know that cardiac enlargement is a prominent feature of Pompeii, and if you're not able to identify the cardiac enlargement on the X-ray, then you're gone. So, two step to achieve reach the answer. First, you should be able to identify cardiac enlargement on the X-ray. Then you should know that cardiac enlargement is a feature in Pompeii. Only then you could answer to this question. The question was on Rotinon. Again, they had given the reactions which will get blocked, then the name of the complexes where it acts. Nutrient deficiency is not a routine question, although we expect you to know this, but this is not a question. Enzyme inhibition graph was a routine question, but then coming to phenylketonuria, non-traditional phenylketonuria was asked in the question. Although we discussed this, that one side you have the enzymes, other side you have the coenzyme, and coenzyme issues can also cause phenylketonuria. And most important enzyme is the diet of protein inhibitors. So it was there in the question. So if you've gone through the videos thoroughly, then you know this answer, but not a traditional question. And in pyrimidine synthesis, again, not a traditional question, although you could answer this if you go through the videos, you have asked about the problem in synthesis by the methotrexate. So you know the target of methotrexate, which is the dihydrofolate reductase, and where the thymine synthesis will get affected. Similarly, in methanol metabolism, you have to know that it will first from the aldehyde, then you form the acid. If you know this, then you're through. But not a routine, not a traditional question. So, session two, hardly 4 5 traditional questions. Most of them were entirely unexpected, although this was somewhat similar. So, 26 topics. I'll quickly run through those 26 topics for your convenience. First was the acid base imbalance. We always expect one question from acid base imbalance. Second is vitamin A followed by B1, B3, B2. We always expect questions from the vitamins anywhere between 3 to 6. However, if you look in session 2, only one question from the vitamins which was not expected. Iron and copper. Unexpected questions in session two. We generally don't expect questions from minerals in the exam. Students expected topic, but the way in which the question was asked was not expected. Then GS we always expect one question. So focus was there, no surprise. But again, the way in which it was asked was not traditional approach. That was metabolism glucose and fructose metabolism disorder always expected. Glucose transporter, one question is generally expected. It's inhibitor, one question is definitely there. Sphingolipidosis, typically Gaucher's, Fabry's, or Niemann-Pick, this is generally there. Then carnitine deficiency was an unexpected question. Carnitine deficiency always asked. However, this time there are two questions in one session, which was a surprise. Although these were 19 simple questions, if you've done the two proteinemias, then you know this answer. Enzyme inhibition graph almost always there. Every alternate paper is going to have this inhibition graph. Then pyroluria, tyrosinemia, catechnuria, this complex is always asked. This time also it was asked, but slightly different way to ask. Heme synthesis led toxicity, again, routine, traditional, common question. Hyperbilirubinemia is expected. You should know what happens to the blood pressure in the pre-hepatic, hepatic, and post-hepatic. Leishman syndrome, routine, commonly asked questions. Primary synthesis, not expected, slightly out of the way. But you should know the target of action of methotrexate. That is a no traditional question. DNA damage, routinely asked. Xeroderma pigmentosum, most commonly asked. This are routinely asked, but slightly different variant was what was asked here. Wilson's, not routinely asked, but we know cave ring. So cave ring was there. Homocystinuria asked, but the way in which it was asked is not expected. We're asking about the typical homocystinuria. Lastly, methanol metabolism, totally unexpected. These were the topics which were there in our NEET PG exam. Please go through these topics when you're preparing for the next year. We have a high chance of reappearing in your exam. So we'll be having the analysis for the next years in the coming videos for both NEET PG and the INI SCT. We'll try to go back to for 4 years to give you sure, but at the same time, we'll also emphasize the topics asked in the last two, three exams to understand where the examiners are leaning in the current scenario. I hope this assessment will help fine tune your preparations. You know that these are the areas where you need to give extra attention. I'm not saying you leave the other ones, but please give a little bit extra attention to these topics because they have been asked in this exam with the thought that for the examiners, these are important topics. So they are likely to remain important in the mind of the examiners, and questions around these topics will reappear in your subsequent exams. So, with this, I would sign off for now. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay well, and best of luck.